Hey YouTube, welcome to another Cloud in a Hurry. Today is Friday, February 2nd, 2024. We're going to be taking a look at two articles today. Both of them are specific to Amazon. Amazon reported their earnings yesterday afternoon at the close of business. So the two articles, one is about Amazon as a whole, the whole entire organization, and then we have another article that is a little bit more specific about AWS. So let's get into it. So first up, Amazon as a whole, you know, they did really well in Q4. Part of that was relative to sales for the holiday. Also, advertising earnings were a little bit higher than was expected, so 14.7 billion versus 14.2 billion. Specifically looking at AWS in the Amazon article, so this is basically a small carve out, right? Just looking at Amazon as a whole, like what did AWS contribute to the growth there? AWS the sales at AWS climbed 13% to 24.2 billion. This was a difference from the quarter before where growth was 12%. But looking at, Q4 relative to a year ago, their growth a year ago was 20%. So year over year, growth is down, quarter over quarter, up by a small margin. And then we have another article here. This is about AWS specifically. So there's a little bit more detail here, a little bit more of an insight into AWS's leadership, into what they think will contribute to growth in the current quarter we're in. So interesting call outs here. In the fourth quarter, AWS's top challengers continue to grow faster. Revenue from Azure grew at 30%, and Alphabet's Google Cloud Platform, which includes the Google Workspace productivity, increased 26%. So we looked at this the other day. We talked about Azure growth, we talked about GCP growth, but the thing that makes these numbers hard to compare, at least for Azure and GCP relative to AWS, is that both Google and Microsoft combine the sales of their productivity suites in their overall numbers. So looking at Microsoft, if you're an Office 365 subscriber, whether you're a business subscriber or a consumer subscriber, all of those numbers go into the Azure number that's reported out. So this isn't just like Azure Cloud Platform. This is Azure Cloud Platform plus Office 365, consumer and business. For Google, it's the same thing. So Google's workspace productivity, all of the Google Docs, Google, Sheets, all that stuff, those subscriptions go into the overall number that's reported out for Google Cloud growth. So it's not entirely surprising that these numbers are higher for Microsoft and Google than they are for AWS. Amazon doesn't have a productivity suite that you can essentially subscribe to separately, that's somehow a number that they can bundle in with a cloud platform number the same way that Microsoft and Google do. So the fact that these numbers are higher, not entirely surprising. Like, in my mind, you're taking two separate market segments and combining them into one number that you report out. So yeah, the numbers look better. Not to disparage any growth for Microsoft and Google, like, the numbers are impressive. But it's apples and oranges. So once again, generative AI is, this is kind of the recurring theme that we've seen in some of these earnings reports. And Amazon is no stranger to this. They mentioned it in their earnings. They had a separate statement. They highlighted the AI wins during the fourth quarter with the likes of Accor, Mitsubishi, Salesforce, and the Very Group. And the quote here is Gen AI is and will continue to be an area of pervasive focus and investment across Amazon, primarily because there are few initiatives, if any, that give us the chance to reinvent so many of our customers' experiences and processes. And we believe it will ultimately drive tens of billions of dollars of revenue for Amazon over the next several years, Jassy said on the earnings call. So Gen AI is definitely part of the game plan for Amazon. They did have the Bedrock release in, I think it was Q4. That was a private preview. I'm not sure if that's gone GA yet. Amazon, the byline here is Amazon growth slightly up in Q4, 13% versus 12% quarter before, but overall year over year, AWS growth is down 20% to 13%. So take that as you will. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks.